We are very pleased to have Mr. Chau, who's a curator at the Hong Kong Heritage Museum, which is a museum which is relatively close by and also one of the finest museums here, I think, in Hong Kong. It's in Sha Tin, and he will talk about the UNESCO project of safeguarding the intangible cultural heritage and what Hong Kong is doing in this regard. And I would like to give the word to you now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Since we are quite late, we were running out of time, so I just rushed through my PowerPoint. Okay, first of all, I must say that I'm not a computer man. I'm not going to talk about the digitalization of any data of my project, because actually we are not in the process. we are now collecting the data, and we'll build a database on the intangible cultural heritage of Hong Kong maybe next year or in 2014. So I just will introduce about the works of our unit, which is about the safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage of Hong Kong since 2006. Because what we are doing in the past few years is all concerned about this new convention adopted by UNESCO in 2003. It's about the Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. And very soon in 2004, China ratified this convention. And since Hong Kong is a special administrative region, and so we have to follow suit. we have to agree that the convention will apply to Hong Kong when it comes into force. And the convention will come into force in 2006 in April, because in that year we have the 30 country, that is Romania. They joined the convention in 2006. So this convention will come to force in 2006, and so that's all our work begin. And in that year, the Hong Kong government have set up a unit in our museum, the Hong Kong Heritage Museum, to implement this convention in Hong Kong. So we have a lot of work to do. And first of all, that is the definition of the convention. Actually, you can see that how they define intangible cultural heritage, also about the traditional practices, knowledge, but the most important thing is all this intangible heritage all come from the community, groups, or individuals. So it's all concerned about the people. So when we talk about intangible cultural heritage, or we say ICH, it's all about the people, because people's skill, people's craftsmanship, people's techniques or performance. So all this kind of ICH, because it's passed down from generation to generation through the different groups or community, and they will keep on changing. They will give a sense of identity and continuity to those groups or community who practice this kind of ICH. So it is really important to the communities. And there is the requirement of the convention. They ask us what to the whole lots of things that we need to do is that concern about safeguarding. So they were concerned about identification, documentation, research, preservation, protection. So a whole series of work waiting for us. And right now, actually, we are just in the very initial stage. We are doing just the identification or documenting or doing some research on the ICH in Hong Kong, because before this convention come into being, not much work has been done, to preserve those traditional practice, traditional scale or performance in Hong Kong, and we even don't know how many items were preserved in Hong Kong. So the first thing what we need to do is to do a territorial survey, to find out what have been remaining or passed down from generation to generation in Hong Kong. But so when we come back to this convention, you can see that the spirit of the convention is mainly on saying that these ISEC all concerned about the community. So the key to safeguard these kinds of ISEC is the community themselves, because it's the community, they own the ISEC, they have the responsibility to pass down their own ISEC, and the government's role is just to give them a push at the back and help them to transmit the ISEC to the next generations. So the convention, they just emphasize that there should be no hierarchy between different kinds of ISEC. You can say that you can't say that some intangible cultural heritage, they are very good, very very high class or something down to earth, very low class, and so they don't have any differentiation between different kinds of ISEC. So everything is equal, and all the communities, they have their own their own traditions, and all kinds of traditions should have the right to transmit to the next generation. I think that's the whole spirit. I think of the convention is that we have to preserve the diversity of culture, so everything should be equal. And ISEC is concerned about the communities themselves. So the role of the state party, starting from the very beginning, the first thing to do is to draw up an inventory of ISEC. That should be the base for the safeguarding work. If you don't know what sort of ISEC were in your own territory, how come you can devise any safeguarding measures? So, the first thing is to draw up an inventory, and the next thing is to have a general policy to promote ISEC within its territory, and also to build up a bodies to look after or to manage the ISEC. That I think that's the responsibility of the government to do that. And so, and the other thing is to study, to preserve, or to promote. It's all concerned about how let the ISEC to transmit. But the most important thing is to engage the community, the public, to do the ISEC themselves. So the first thing in Hong Kong, what we do is to build up, establish a structure, to preserve our local ISEC. And in Hong Kong, we have the Home Affairs Bureau. It's the government bureau who is the policy bureau who look after the ISEC in Hong Kong. So they draw up the policy and the directions. And under the bureau, we have the Leisure and Cultural Service Department, and that is the executive department. So that is the department to really to do the actual work, to implement the convention in Hong Kong. And under the Leisure and Cultural Services Department, we have the Heritage Museum, the Hong Kong Heritage Museum. So in 2006, in March, we set up a new unit of ISEC in our museum, and that is this new unit is to do the whole thing concerned about the safeguarding of ISEC in Hong Kong. And apart from this unit and the Home Affairs Bureau, in 2008 they established. Actually, they appoint a advisory committee most of these the members of these committees are all those you see. They are the most of them are the scholar experts in this field. They are from local university. So it is the first step to engage the public. It's not the government to do all those things, but at least the first thing is to have this advisory committee. They give wise comment to the government to how to preserve or how to safeguard our local ice age. And so the first thing we need to do is to make the first inventory in Hong Kong. But as I said before this, we have this convention. Actually, nobody really know what is ice age in Hong Kong, and not much work have been done in this field. So the first thing is to do a territory-wide survey. And so in 2006 or 2007, I have to map out the whole strategy, the methodology, and draw up the specification. And because we need to hire somebody from the local university to help us, because we only have a few people in the museum, we can't do it ourselves. So after a very year-long process of tendering. And finally, in 2009, we commissioned the South China Research Center of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and they really helped us to do the survey, and the survey should complete by the end of this year. Actually, they are now very busy, doing the final report. And the methodology is quite simple, and it really divided into two parts. The first part is to do a desktop, research, to dig up from the document, from the archive, to see, in the past in Hong Kong, is there any kind of traditions or ice age that have been passed down from generations, or some of the ice age may be already lost in the course of time. And the second thing is to do the real field work, to go out, because all this kind of ice age, what we are talking about, ice age, is actually within the community. In the past, maybe we have some scholar do a little bit, but if we want to have a clear picture, we really need to go out to do the field work ourselves. So it's the survey team, they're really, very busy all the past 3 years. They have to go out to do a lot of, oral history survey, to take a lot of recording, photographic recording or video recording, and also collect some of the objects that related to the ice age. And how about the scope of the survey? And it is really defined by the convention itself, but it is the convention defined 5 major categories of the ice age. So the first is about the oral tradition and expression. The second is about the performing art, and the third one is social practice, ritual and festive events, and the fourth, the knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe, and final one is traditional craftsmanship. So this is the scope that we have to do. But actually, what left behind in Hong Kong, I will show you some of the picture. For example, the oral traditions. We have a lot of different kind of ethnic groups in Hong Kong. Actually, in the past 1,000 years or so, we have a lot of people moved from mainland China to Hong Kong, back to Song Dynasty. We have those from the Central Plain area, from the Yellow River region. So gradually they come to Hong Kong, they settle down, and every group they have different kind of languages. So we have first to record their language. We have to and different group they have a lot of their own story or legends. So we have to to record all these legends, poets, or for example, the mountain songs, the fishermen's songs, all this is the first, large category that we need to record. So a lot of interface with those community. We have to go out to meet different kind of, people and talk with them and do the oral, in-depth oral history. The second category is the performing arts in Hong Kong. Although Hong Kong is nowadays a very highly modernized city, but still we have a lot of this traditional performance, and the largest one is the Cantonese opera, because most people in Hong Kong have come from the Canton province. So we have the Cantonese in Hong Kong, a big group, and the traditional opera, the Cantonese is still very popular. And especially during those temple, festival, Chau festival, they have this, performance. Every year is about 600, 700 performance, performed every year, for this kind of San Gong Hei performed during the temple festival. And the second large group is the Chiu Chau opera or folklore opera. This belong to different kind of ethnic group in Hong Kong. So they have their own kind of entertainment and their own opera. And the puppet show is in the past is quite popular in Hong Kong, but now having almost died down, because we can't have any professional or commercial troupes to perform puppet show nowadays in Hong Kong. So it's really a problem. And Nanying is also a traditional kind of singing, but also quite in danger nowadays in Hong Kong. So this kind of puppet show that is also performed during the Chau festival or temple, festival. But for some of this picture was taken about 2 or 3 years ago, and the puppet troupe is from mainland China, not Hong Kong, because we don't have Hong Kong troops right now, and they have to hire those people from mainland China to perform the puppet show. And the third largest group is social practice, ritual, and festive events. And this is very important in Hong Kong, because in the past 150 years under the British, colonial rule, Hong Kong, the people, the traditional, the Hong Kong people, it's most of them from China, and they are allowed to practice all their traditional, ritual, so long they comply with the law of Hong Kong. So it's okay, because this kind of ritual, they never, contradict with the Hong Kong law. So this tradition pass on from generation to generation with Hong Kong. But as you know, in the same time, in mainland China, over the past 100 years, there's a lot of changes, because the Kuomintang, later the communists, all those, they really want to cut off from the traditions. They want to westernize the whole country. So a lot of the traditions in the mainland China has, died down. But very strange in Hong Kong, we have all this traditional kind of ritual or worshipping or Taoist or Buddhist ceremony. All these can be traced back, to 1,000 years history. All are very well preserved in Hong Kong. For example, we have this lantern lighting ritual. This is some kind of ancestral ritual, because in the New Territory, there's a lot of ancestral hall, and there's a lot of the different clans. And if within your clan in that year you give birth boy, a baby child, a male, and then you have the right to hang a lantern in the ancestral hall. This is indication of the ancestry. It is the new baby boy be a part of the clan. So it is a very important ritual for those people within the clan. So during the Chinese New Year, if you go to the New Territory, you can see a lot of people that hang these large lanterns in the ancestral hall. And nowadays, you can still see this kind of ancestral worshiping, and within the large ancestral hall in the New Territory, and it is one of the large clan. There's a new clan in Shangshui area. During springtime, all the old people, the village rep, the village elderly, they gather, together to worship the ancestor within in the ancestral hall. So it's very important to those people within the clan. But for those small clan, they also have this kind of the temple festival. In Hong Kong, we have more than 50 Tinao temple in Hong Kong. So Tinao is a very common god or goddess in Hong Kong. And during the day, of the Tinao festival, we have all sorts of celebration. So this one is very one of the famous one is in the Yuen Long area. They have a parade, of this kind of Fa Pao. And this another temple festival for the Hong Sing. It's during the Dragon Boat Festival and the 5th day of the 5th lunar month. We have a lot of celebration in Hong Kong, but the most important one is this one in Tai O, and they have a long tradition of free, fishermen association they carry out the deities from 4 temples, and they have this water parade along the water channel, and we have the Ghost Festival in the 7th lunar month, and it is also very common in Hong Kong. And different ethnic group, they have different kinds of ritual to worship those ghosts. I mean, those people who die, accidentally. So they have to give blessing to them. So this one is on Ping Chau Island. And also Mid-Autumn Festival, also very common in Hong Kong, where a lot of celebration. So this kind of tradition, for example, this fried dragon dance in Causeway Bay. This is very famous now, one of the very famous ice age in Hong Kong, because been inscribed on the national list. And also, apart from those temple festival, we have this kind of Jiao festival. For this one is on the Cheung Chau Island. They have this Jiao festival every year, and now they become a very famous, tourist activities. A lot of people just go to rush to the island, for this what they call the Bun Festival. Is promoted by the tourist association, but actually it's the whole thing is some kind of folk religious ceremony. It's all concerned about the how to worship those who died in the past few years, and so they have the deities come out for worshiping in this deity sheds. And this Chengzhou Jiao Festival, they have the practice every years, but for some villages they have this kind of Jiao Festival for every 10 years. So because you know, for organizing this kind of festival, it needs a lot of money. So some village, they're not very rich, and they will have some every 5 years or every 8 years. Some for this kind this old Chau festival, they have every 10 years. And you see, Kano is a small island on the northeast of Hong Kong, but in a normal day, just a few old people on that island you can find. But during the Chau festival, all those people who migrate to the Western country or they will come back to celebrate. And you see, they're not only come back, and they also bring along their friends, the Western friends. So their friends also practice in the parade of the Chau festival. So apart from those, I mentioned, those Chinese traditions. But apart from Chinese traditions, we have also this kind of Western traditions, because Hong Kong have under the British rule for at least 150 years. So we have all this kind of Catholic tradition. This is Jewish. This is Jewish synagogue. It's in the mid-level. It is still very active, the Jewish community. We have also the Muslim, also the Hindu. We have a Hindu temple in Happy Valley, and they're also very active. This is one of the festival. So these are all the traditions. Are also those ISACs that we need to to record. And the four main budget group is this knowledge and practice. It's talk about also folk religions, or even feng shui, or da xiu yan, the wind hitting. This is also very popular in Hong Kong. And the fifth largest group is this traditional craftsmanship. And these are some of those craft that we need to record. For example, how to construct the techniques of constructing this bamboo shed, to stage the temple opera, the theater. That is a very unique kind of techniques that we want to preserve. The shrimp plays, the technique and also the food culture is also also this kind of paper craft techniques. Where nowadays all these kind of techniques are almost dying in Hong Kong, because they can't find a market, because nowadays the demand is still high. A lot of Chinese they need this kind of paper craft for worshipping, but they usually buy all those products are made in the mainland China, because it's much cheaper in Hong Kong. So all those craftsmen in Hong Kong, they lose their market. They can't. So how to help them to transmit the technique is a really more problem. So during our turn, we help ask them to help us, for example, build this the large lantern for this Lantern Festival. Is kind of helping them. So how to engage the local people during the inventory making process. So we have to attend, the district council meeting. Or in Hong Kong, we have 18 district council. So one by one, I go to every council to explain, to introduce the survey, to ask them, the councillor to give us information about ISAC within the local district. And also we attend meetings of Heng Wah Chau, and also send a lot of letters to different kinds of guilds, chambers of commerce, or local organizations to ask them for more information about their own, traditions. So that's the way, to engage the public. And now we are almost come to the end of the survey, but we are now preparing the final report. But after that, we will prepare a proposed inventory, a tentative one, but we will also conduct a public consultation process. We will post it onto the web, and maybe for 4 months, and ask the public comment on the inventory. And after the whole process, and then the Home Affairs Bureau will issue the first inventory of Hong Kong. So it is really a long process to engage the public. And the other thing to engage the public is or to raise the public awareness is to apply for inscription to China, to inscribe some of the important ISH in Hong Kong to raise the transparency or the visibility of local ISH. So the first, for example, we inscribed the Cantonese opera, the herbal tea drinks in the first batch in 2006. And in 2011, we inscribed another 4. Is those I just mentioned is the Chau Festival of Changchao, the Dragon Boat Water Parade of Taiao, the Fire Dragon Dance, and also the Ghost Festival. For example, this Changzhou Chau Festival. We need to engage those organizers, those people who organize the activities. For example, the Taiao, all these fishermen, they all organize the activity every year. So they have to agree, to apply, to make the application. They also agree to the whole, plan to preserve the ice age. Also, Disco Festival, Taihang, the Fire Dragon Dance. So how to engage? For example, this is the Secretary of Home Affairs. So you go to the Taihang to talk with those people and ask them, are they willing, really to apply to China to inscribe this item onto the national list. So that is the process, and the whole process is very successful. You see, they are very pleased to have the item, inscribed, and and last year they have a ceremony held in Beijing. All those people they go to Beijing and to receive the, this plaque, which is really an honor to them. The ISH is they suddenly find that their tradition in the past have been long neglected, by their own, people, but now it's respect or, known to the whole country. So being coverage by the whole, a lot of media and the government official attend their ceremony, and a lot of people, come to go to Taiao to attend the function. And the most important thing is that you see, in the past, we don't have just the old people. They continue the tradition. But now you see, we have the young people who join the Dragon Boat. That is a good sign, for inscribing onto the list. And the other one is to inscribe onto the UNESCO representative list. And we have one item is the Cantonese opera. So Cantonese opera in the past few years have been getting very, very popular, and the government have been investing a lot, to promote and to transmit this item. So this is some of the opera, the performance. So that is the certificate, issued by the UNESCO to the local groups. So we have the press conference to let the people, the public know. So the public now they are very pleased that we have at least one item onto the world class, the world list. So we have to receive this from the in Beijing. And after that, a lot of people try to help. For example, we have the Hong Kong Jockey Club, the charity trust fund. They donate a lot of money in the past 2 years or so to help to promote, to educate the people. We have the Conservancy Association, the Center for Heritage, that also help to promote this. The community, the initiative by the community themselves, they help to promote the heritage in Hong Kong. And also the Wilson Heritage Trust, they also sponsor to build 3 new dragon boats for the Taiwan fishermen. So this year they have the new Dragon Ball for the parade. And in our museum, we have done a lot of the education promotion work, for example, research, exhibition, different kind of exhibition to promote the Ice Age. We have the demonstration by the bearers. There is also another exhibition in 2011. This one, we also engaged the CTU. They help us to build this iDome to show the Cantonese opera. So we also collaborate with the Education Bureau to train the local teachers, the teacher, to let them know what kind of Ice Age were preserved in Hong Kong, and help them to pass on this kind of knowledge to their students. So this is really a lot of work waiting for us to do. So we are also different kind of conference, seminars, Cantonese Opera Day by our department. So we have taken kind of all sorts of opportunity to promote local Ice Age, and for example, helping the building of the Dragon Ball in Hong Kong is the last chance, because in the past a lot of the Dragon Ball was built in Hong Kong, but now because they're too expensive, so it is the last chance for a lot of person to have money to ask this old craftsman to build the Dragon Ball, and we're taking this chance to ask our survey team to record the whole process. So it is really important. And so all those work required by under the UNESCO Convention is all those work, and we are just in the first field for identification or documentation or research. So there's a lot waiting for us. And thank you.
I would like to ask, will the artifacts relating to the Ice Age will be collected by the museum?
Yeah, sure. During our survey, we will collect some artifacts which related to those items that we recorded. Yeah.
Okay.
And now we are building up a collection on those Ice Age items. Yeah.
Thank you.
A quick two-part question. First, you mentioned the study will be completed at the end of this year. Could you give a rough summary of the results of that, if you have it? And number two is, you mentioned these heritage lists and to get on them. What is the practical benefit of getting on that list? Is there guaranteed funding and resources?
The first question. In the past 3 years, so the survey team already surveyed about 700 to 800 items in Hong Kong. That means there's still a lot of traditional skill and craftsmanship passing on in Hong Kong. But I don't think all these items will be included in the inventory, because we are now doing screening. See if we have got enough data or enough information if this item will be qualified to be inscribed on the first inventory in Hong Kong. And the second question.
What's the benefit of being on the list?
I think the government, after we announce the first inventory, we will see for every item they're unique, and the mode of preservation is still different. So for some item that is very well preserved in Hong Kong, we will do nothing. Just record it. We know that there's everybody is still practicing. For example, the Tien Hao Festival, the ritual. The community is still practicing. We don't want to interfere with them. But for some item, it is really under danger. Then we have to think of some way to help them maybe, ask the expert to do some in-depth research before the item was, really disappear, or another way to give, to help, to have financial support to those, craftsmen or master to help them, to transmit their skill to the next generation. So we have different approach to this different kind of Ice Age. Yeah.
Okay, last question over there.
Sorry. First of all, thank you for a fabulous talk. Absolutely fascinating. Thank you very much. I have a question from the perspective of the museum.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a museum? How are you collecting these artifacts? And is it documentation? What about long-term preservation? What does it mean?
Yes. For Ice Age, the most important thing is to preserve the people, because everything is passed on from people, from within the mind of people. So the point to collect the object is because the object itself also carry, the skill, or carry the Ice Age themselves. So. Although it's not the most important, the major part, but we still need to collect the objects. At least it is illustration, but for some, so it is not the major one. We do a lot of recording, so we make make a lot of oral, interview with the people, to ask about the history, the development of the Ice Age. And I think this document is very important. The whole recording, and the video recording, the transcript, the photo. I think after we have the first infantry announced, we will have all this information put it onto the website and let the public to access to the data. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.